Tick comes to Amazon Prime. Technical difficulties interrupt our tribute to the late great Gene Wilder. Stranger Things, Roy hasn't seen it yet. And Turn of the Millennium Rap, who doesn't love it? This is Modern Retro. And welcome back to Modern Retro. I am your host, Cuba. I am joined in studio, or basement rather.
In basement by
in basement studio.
By Sir Roy.
You should also prerequisite basement by not parents' basement. It's your own basement. That
You've never had a basement.
I've had a basement. I was younger though.
And I locked all the ladies up in it.
No, I had two basements.
He doesn't deny it.
There was a pause. There was definitely a pause.
You don't need to know my business.
Cover this one.
Thinking.
Shit. Joined by studio with me, Roy, your guide to the ridiculously.
Yeah, that's
and
a good
from
title.
The power of the interwebs, Aaron.
Yay, FaceTime.
Woo!
Again, so welcome to the modern... who's beeping?
Facebook.
Who's beeping?
That's me.
Welcome to the Modern Retro. Episode 2. Can you believe it? After so many attempts, after 6 months, 3 attempts, we got episode 1 in the can. It's up. It's posted. You can go check that out on iTunes. Give us a rating.
Are we on Stitcher?
Tell your friends. What's that?
Are we on Stitcher?
No, not yet. Baby steps. Right now, we're only on iTunes.
And you ain't shit.
by the time this gets up, I hope to have our website completed, and then you'll be able to find this podcast and every episode that we have on Stitcher and SoundCloud, as well as streaming it off the website. So for right now, it's only iTunes, but like I said, the ball just started rolling after many months of it being stagnant.
At least the balls are out.
Yes, okay. That's right. The balls are currently on the table.
Getting
and
some breeze.
They're sweaty. Yeah, they're getting a breeze.
They're starting to roll. They're starting to descend.
It's just a matter of getting everything out there. Got to set up the Facebook is already up. I think there's a Twitter. I don't remember if I set up a Twitter. There will be a Twitter. The website will be up. Like I said, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud will be on all those things. So just bear with us for the time being.
We're bearing.
Yeah. So what we got to talk about?
Well, I'll start things off because I just posted it to my fiance's Facebook. The new trailer for Stranger Things Season 2.
Haven't seen Stranger Things Season 1.
Dude, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
8 episodes, 8 hours of your life at night.
I'm waiting.
Instead of spending the hour watching your Cam's website, just watch a fucking episode of Stranger Things in the background.
No.
Yeah, man, dude.
Chatterbait, my free cams.
In this age of like internet instant everything. I mean, if you haven't, that show's been out for 2 or 3 months now. It's like you're beyond the point of like spoiler free.
But the thing is, I purposely haven't watched it because me and Lee are trying to watch it together, and we just haven't had the time to sit down and actually devote the time to watch it.
You need to do what Liz and I do, is one of us will start watching something, the other will come in the middle and go, this is awesome, and then we watch one episode together, and then we get upset when the other one starts watching it without us, and then we have to catch up.
Yes, I see. That's why we usually do that. Usually it's, I'll start something, and I'll try to get her into it. This one, I was like, you know what, I haven't heard a single person say it's not good. Or, I'll take that back. I haven't heard a single person write or see anything that didn't say it wasn't fucking excellent. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So...
That's because it's excellent.
I want to wait. Because we just always happen to watch those shows together. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of cross things. You know what I mean? But this is the one thing that I was like, you know what? Gotta do it, man.
I haven't seen the trailer yet. So what is it? Is it just one of those like stupid like teasers for the trailer that just says Stranger Things 2, or does it actually show anything?
It does like the logo, but over laid is like text of like the boy who came back, and it has like all these texts pertaining to the first season. Only it ends with like 2017.
Ah man,
so it's really just a teaser because they haven't started production on it.
Yes, but it's official.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Well, I mean, dude, it was a foregone conclusion that it was official. When I watched the last episode of that, I'm like, there's no way they're not going to make more of this. Like, now, like I don't know if I mentioned this off the podcast or during the last episode. I'm happy that there's more of it either way, but the way they ended it, it could go two ways, and it could be phenomenal each way. It could either be a continuation of the story and the characters that we have, or they could make it an anthology series, and it'd be a completely different set of characters in a completely different town with a completely different fucked up weird situation. See, and I'd be fine with it.
I think they should do that, only keep 11 the same.
She just somehow transcends everything?
Yeah. Like, it'll be a completely different town, but she's there, and you deal with, like, whatever the fuck the monster was eating out of that egg.
I'm just going to take the headphones off. There we go. I can't hear.
Yeah, but you can still hear me.
Yeah, I know, but if he's talking about it,
you didn't know there was a monster in it?
No, I do nothing. All I see is the little thing that said, what is it? Stranger Things, and it just has like a little. Can't even tell if it's a boy or a girl. Just shaved head, just staring very creepily at the screen.
Yeah, 11. She's fantastic. But,
yeah, the kid acting in this show is like, it's turned up to 11. It's amazing. It's some of the best kids, kid actors you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody. The sheriff is great. Winona Ryder is great in it. Damn it, I want to talk.
I'm sorry, man.
I will keep it spoiler free for your sake.
Thank you.
But for now,
10 fucks.
Another week,
bucket of fucks.
We're gonna dive into the meat of this thing.
I do appreciate it. Give me the 1 week. Even if I have to myself, I will.
Just
Stranger Things is rated a bucket of fucks. Just so everyone knows.
I don't think we've ever rated TV shows before, have we?
No, we could.
It doesn't count. It's Netflix. It's Netflix series.
Earlier.
Yeah, Netflix is. Netflix gives great amount of fucks to everything. Yeah. I haven't seen Narcos yet, but I heard that's supposed to be really good.
I want to see Marco Polo.
Yeah, I heard Marco Polo is good. Peaky Blinders is good.
I heard good things and bad things. I heard that if you watch it, it's cool, but you definitely need subtitles.
Well, yeah, because like they're like that really heavy like Northern England accent thing. Yeah. But I don't think I can think of a bad Netflix show.
There's one that I saw the trailer for that I was sort of interested in. It sounds like it's almost based loosely off of a book called Blood Crazy that I love, but I think it's called 22, or maybe I'm wrong. It's basically in this one town, or this disease, basically a plague sort of happens, but anyone over the age of 22 dies. So they quarantine this.
I watched that actually. Yeah.
Was it good?
It was decent. It's misleading. It's not a Netflix show. It's a Canadian show that Netflix like co-produced or like it like had like the streaming rights to or something like
that's
that.
Strange because usually on the top it's like the Netflix originals.
Right. That's what I thought because I watched it and it was compelling enough for me to actually watch both seasons of it.
Mm-hmm. That's 2 seasons.
Yeah. They're like short seasons. They're like
13 episodes or so.
No, they're like 6 episodes each or something like that. Like 1 hour, 6 like 1 hour long episodes or something like that. And it's pretty generic and it's actually like a better version of Under the Dome. That show was really bad.
Which is funny because the book I've read the book of
right, yeah.
And up until you get to the last chapter, that book is fucking fantastic.
Right.
Then you get to the last chapter. Have you watched the show?
Yeah, Liz and I started watching the show, and then we stopped because it was just bad.
Do you know?
I know. It's
the big ending, the big twist.
It was a Star Trek episode, essentially.
Yeah. It gets to be completely stupid because the whole time you're like, "Holy shit, what is this thing?" And it starts to be where they don't explain it. They don't explain it, and then in the last chapter they throw like, "Well, we found this alien-looking box, and it created the dome," and then the whole dome is filling with pollution. We're all starting to die, and all of a sudden these aliens show up.
Yeah, they pretty much get to that in like episode 5.
Really?
Yeah, like the show goes like way too fast. The acting's kind of
That book was drawn the fuck out.
That's
too.
That's what Stephen King does.
Oh yeah, have you ever read The Stand?
No, but I know of it.
I've got like the 1,300 page like uncut version of it. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But that show you were talking about, where everybody under the age of 22 dies, watch it. It's good. It's good enough to keep you interested.
Okay.
Not the best show, but it's compelling. It kind of goes into like a weird twist. I don't think it's renewed for a third season because it didn't do good enough in Canada, I guess. So it ends kind of like they're setting up for season 3. Oh, they're canceled. I guess that's it. Like, but like it can end, and I'd be okay with it the way that it ends.
Okay.
And yeah, like you can see things coming in it like pretty well. Like,
and whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's I think why I liked it was because Lord of the Flies is like one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like almost kind of a modern retelling of Lord of the Flies, because it's everybody in this town who's, if you're over the age of 22, you die. You just like start like convulsing and like puking up this like black bile.
Ooh.
And then you die. And I think within 4 days or something, everybody over 22 is dead.
But it's in
this
town, right?
Just in this one town, and it's the town's quarantined, and it's like the government doesn't hold shit back. Like there's guards at the gate, and then kid tries to escape at night, and they start taking shots at him, and then one day the guards are gone. And he cuts like a hole in the gate, and they find out they put a minefield around the fucking town. And then these other kids, they like, one of them, like the rich kid in town, the kid whose dad owned half the town.
So he thinks he's gonna get.
But no, it's a good twist, because he starts off like that, but he is actually like a good kid.
Oh, nice.
Trying to like. He's always been in charge, so he's like trying, but he doesn't really want to be. So it's kind of one of those like that was like a good twist on it. But he's like the leader of the hockey team or something like that. So the jocks are his army essentially. Nice. But like one of them was like, let's fly out of here. I'll go get help. My dad's got the plane at the airfield. And dude gets in the guy gets in the plane and like yay, they're gonna do it. And then a missile goes boom and blows the plane the fuck away. You're like, yeah.
It sounds like it's sort of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's it's not an uncommon idea for something like that. To have like you said, Lord of the Flies. They've had things throughout the years.
Yeah. It's just like it's not like like I said, 22. You're an adult. You're well into your life. Why it's 22? I don't think it's really explained. I can't give much away spoiler wise without getting more into detail with it. So. It's like Lord of the Flies with young people in charge, but they're not like all 12-year-olds, which would be more chaotic. I mean, it's pretty chaotic with like the 24 like 19 to 22-year-olds, and the like hundreds of like kids under the age of like 17 running around and shit.
How the hell do you handle all that?
Yeah, like there's babies and there's like 4-year-old kids. Dude, like one of the scenes is like fucking tragic, because like this kid, he's like 6, and then he's got like a 4-year-old sister, and like they're trying to get food. Like, we heard that somebody's giving away free cheeseburgers, and the guy's like, it was like one of the guys like in the restaurant. So he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I ran out of the cheeseburgers. And he's like, that's okay. And they walk outside, and you hear like, and you're like, oh shit, well the kid's got run over. And the kid runs outside, and one of the kids that get run over, the boy, like the like, he got hit by another car, but when the driver of the car comes out, it's like another 5-year-old kid who's driving the fucking car. So
this is amazing.
No, but it's sad because they go back to like the little 4-year-old sister every once in a while. And she's like, where's your brother? Hey, Dad.
Well, see, I just imagine like the little like 4-year-old girl just being like, well, he's just. Little brother's just meat now.
Just meat. He's just eat him.
He's just meat, and he just starts gnawing on his leg like, oh Jesus!
I don't think they got that desperate that early in the in the pandemic yet. But
I gotta let you borrow a book called Blood Crazy, which kind of has the same overall thing where anyone over the age of, I think it's like 19 goes homicidally crazy and kills anyone under the age of 19. So every adult tries to kill children, especially their own children, and they become these like mindless, not quite zombies, but they're not all there.
Didn't they make a movie like that? That was the Crazies, right? Wasn't that what that was called?
I think that was just more of a generic zombie movie.
But they weren't zombies. I thought it was something like that.
It was like The Rage,
yeah,
basically from like 28
right,
Days
okay.
Later, if I'm thinking of the right one. But and it's just this kid Nick who's just trying to kind of like well, he's a nobody doing nothing. That's how he describes himself. But he gets into this series of events where he becomes like the epicenter of a budding civilization trying to be rebuilt by kids, and he sort of discovers like him and this other person discover like a theory of why this is happening and whatnot. And there is a scientific biological reason for it. It's not like a weapon or anything. I can let you borrow, man. It's a really good book. Really, really good one. I love that idea. It takes the whole age, the age thing takes a normal catastrophe and turns it totally on its head. Because, like, how the fuck do you... Dude, I probably would have burned my house... If I was, like, 10, I would have burned my house down trying to, like, make toast.
Shit, I almost burned my house down several times, and I never had the apocalypse going on.
Like, trying to put Pop-Tarts in the fucking, in the microwave or in the toaster or something like that. You just burn your kitchen down.
Aaron, you still alive over there?
I am. I have nothing to say. Just scrolling Pinterest. I'll be here.
Well, while we're on the topic of streaming television shows and giving reviews for them, in preparation for this episode tonight, I watched the pilot episode of The Tick on Amazon Prime last night.
Ooh, how'd that go?
Spoon!
I wish he said spoon. I will say that I want to see more, but it felt incomplete. Like when Prime is different from Netflix. Netflix will just make a series and put the whole thing out, and they're like, "You like this now? Deal with it." Where Prime, they make a pilot episode, and then
people vote on it.
Based on the feedback, they'll go and put it in production. Like Man in the High Castle was a great series. I can't wait for season 2.
That's another thing I need to watch.
Dude, you're slacking. Get on that one. Get on that one too.
So busy.
That one's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, this is Prime that I'm talking about. But yeah, I watched the pilot the pilot episode of Man in the High Castle, and it was an hour-long pilot, and it was good. And that show sets up like the such a believable universe for the story. It's great. And by the end of the episode, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for the next episode. I want more. So I sort of got that with The Tick, but it was only a 30-minute pilot. It felt like something like a crowd-funded like YouTube video.
Ooh.
But not in a bad way. It's just like it should have been an hour-long pilot. I mean, if they make this a series, I really hope it's not 30-minute episodes.
It's very hard to get away with that nowadays if it's not like a sitcom.
Right.
If you're doing a show right, you need the hour.
Exactly.
Really.
So that's why I was really thrown off by it, because
especially when you have Jessica Jones and you have Nick Cage and Daredevil and all those types of shows, like a satirical one would be great.
Right, and that's kind of what this is. It's not like the previous Tick show, which was like a sitcom pretty much, and it reminded me of the cartoon, but it's drawing its own narrative. It's shot like it looks like Jessica Jones and Nick Cage. It looks like the city.
So the cinematography is actually pretty legit.
It's legit, and I mean it's like it looks like fucking Gotham from the Christopher Nolan film, pretty much. It looks like it's shot in Chicago or something like that, and you're introduced to Arthur first, and like the story's about Arthur, pretty much. Which and so from what I've read, it doesn't follow the narrative of the comics or the cartoon. It's telling its own story. So that it's a world with superheroes, but there's only like one legit superhero, and his name is Superius. So when you read it, you're reading Superman, but it doesn't actually say Superman, but he has all Superman's powers. And this, like, the writing is great because there's just like so many quick little throwaway lines that are hilarious. They're talking about this team, the superhero team, like on the radio, like Arthur's driving. They're talking about this team called the Fab Five or something like that. But he's like, the Fab Five they're dead. They were infected with deadly syphilis and then shot to death. It's like, you're like, what the fuck? So it's sort of like a gritty Tick remake, because like at first, like the first like 10 or so minutes of it, you're sitting there going like, okay, this is different, this is interesting, you're watching it, and then when the Tick arrives, he's awesomely hilarious. He's like, hey there, friend, are you spying upon these evildoers and the jolly good jawbreaker of justice? Like that's how he talks. Like the guy who plays the Tick is great. It's I don't remember the actor's name. He's a British dude.
Peter Serafinowicz. He was behind like if you ever saw Darth Vader in Love, he did that whole skit.
Right. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the guy who was like, these are a bunch of a-holes.
Now, see, that's what's important is that the show's called The Tick. You can play with the narrative and everything you want, but the one fucking thing it has to do well, is the Tick itself.
Right.
Himself.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to have that, like, that eagerness, you know what I mean? That, like, how do you describe him? Just over the top.
Yeah, and he nails that perfectly.
Good.
Like when he goes and like attacks these bad guys. He like jumps from like this building like half a mile and lands in the middle of them, and they all start. He's like, now you will face the wrath of justice or something like that, and they start shooting at him, and the bullets are just bouncing off, and like a dude runs at him, and he just slaps the dude away, and the dude goes flying like 50 feet, and then like. He like another bullet ricochets off of him and like I think hits a dude and he goes, that was your fault, sir. and then like, he opens up like a garage bay and there's like 20 dudes with guns in there and they all start shooting at him and he just starts going and it's just perfect. And then when he goes to Arthur's apartment and he's looking around, he's like, this is a great crime lab you have here. And he goes, I bet this is the entrance to your secret lair. And he pulls like the coat rack and like breaks it. And he's constant, like he's trying to convince Arthur to become his sidekick. And he's constantly pulling everything in his apartment, like breaking it, thinking he's like a trap door is going to open or something like that.
That's awesome. So,
I mean, and it's great. And he's near the end of the episode, like Arthur's trying on like the moth suit, and right off the bat, the moment the moth suit is shown, somebody makes the reference that it looks like a bunny suit. So like, yeah, like it shows Arthur like putting it on, but then it shows like these bad guys like coming after him, and the whole time the Tick's narrating, and like it shows what's happening to Arthur, and it shows Tick up on like a rooftop, and his hands are by his side, and you hear the narration, and then as the camera pans to the front of him, he's actually speaking the narration. So I mean, it's funny and it's good. And Arthur's backstory is interesting because he's looking for this villain called the Terror.
Yeah, like killed his parents or something like that.
Well, inadvertently, they show like they have a flashback where the Fab Five, like when Arthur's a kid, his dad's paying the parking meter, and the Fab Five's like a spaceship. Crushes his dad. And, like he just comes out of the sky and crushes him, and then like they come out and they're like, oh, we're blind from syphilis. And then the Terror shows up, and he's like, and he has his henchmen like legit just shoot them in the head.
Wow.
Like he's like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, they're blind, my syphilis blinded them. He's like, shoot them. So like they shoot them, and then he walks over to Arthur, who was having like ice cream with his dad, and he's like, hey, what's that behind your ear? And he reaches, and he pulls, and then he like brings his hand back, and there's nothing there, and he goes, nothing! You got nothing! He like, picks up his ice cream, he just really like eats it really messily, and he goes, let's get out of here. And he walks away.
The show sounds amazing!
It is! It was good! But it was so short. It was, like I said, it was a 30-minute pilot. It's like, it felt like they only showed us the first half because it ends in the middle of an action sequence.
See, that's a problem with them not wanting to commit and spend the money up front.
Right.
You know, which is stupid.
My only complaint is I hate the Tick's costume.
I've seen that, and it looks ridiculous. It follows only when I think about it in headcanon, I'm like, well, you know, it's really playing off the whole thing that every superhero's costume nowadays has like tiny little lines and divots, and like they way overproduced.
It looks like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It looks like the shell of an insect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
But you want to see the cartoon just like blue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Or even was it Patrick Warburton?
Yeah. Washburn, right? Was that his name?
Warburton?
Patrick Washburn, isn't it? I think that's his name, but
Look it up, Aaron.
Dude from Family Guy. But that was my only complaint about the show. Is like, I'm like, God, I hate the dude. First, the dude doesn't look like the Tick. The actor, he's not. I would never have cast him as a Tick based on looks.
Just needs that huge jaw.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have the jaw. Like, he is big. I don't know how much of that is like movie magic that they made him much bigger than everybody.
Just the suit itself.
Probably the suit.
Yeah, Patrick Warburton.
Boom!
Oh,
hold on. Knock one up for Roy. Doesn't happen very often.
God, I love podcasting next to a beer fridge.
Seriously.
This is so great. But yeah, I wouldn't have cast him based on his looks because he doesn't look like the Tick. But the way he delivers his lines, the way he sounds and talks, that's the Tick all day. But that suit is terrible. It's the only good part about the suit is that the antenna move, just randomly. So I'm like, I like that. Like, that's kind of cool.
Nice. Maybe I'll give that a shot too.
Yeah, do it.
Half an hour, that'll be easy.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I need to go on Prime and like vote for it. I want more. I want more of the show.
What did you already see what you thought the negatives were? Just the show length and all.
Yeah, like when they make the show, hopefully they make it. Do something better with the Tick's costume, and just make them an hour-long episode. Like 30 minutes is stupid, especially for streaming. You know,
you need that at least that 42-minute. You know what I mean? We say an hour. Really, they always end up being 42 minutes, even if it's like a short.
Well, I mean, with the Get Down, that's the other awesome show on Netflix about like the birth of hip hop in the Bronx in 1977. Like that was. Dude, those weren't even hour-long episodes. Some of them were an hour long. Some of them were like an hour and a half long. Oh, wow. Like, there was no rhyme or reason to why one episode was longer than the other. But, like, you know, I'm watching an episode, and, like, I pause it to go do something, and I'm like, there's still 45 fucking minutes in this, and I've already watched 40 minutes.
That's what happens when you give people who want to tell a story. You give
exactly,
them, you know?
Exactly. And that series is great because it was created by Boz Lerman, I believe, the dude who did Moulin Rouge, Romeo and Juliet, Australia, and The Great Gatsby.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that guy. Like, his stylization of things is fantastic.
Romeo and Juliet, was that the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and all that stuff? Yep. I draw my sword, and it's like the pistols.
Yeah.
I remember watching that in high school, and I thought it was fucking, like you said, the visualizations of that were really cool. I couldn't get too much into it because I'm not a huge Romeo and Juliet fan, but like just the way they did battle and drew their swords.
Right, yeah, and that's his thing. Like his movies are so stylized and just, I love it. And he doesn't direct this, but he's the co-creator of it, and you can see his influence in it big time. So it's not a true per se story of how hip hop was invented, but I mean it's essentially paying homage to it because he worked on it with Grandmaster, the real Grandmaster Flash, who the dude in the show who plays Grandmaster Flash looks like fucking Grandmaster Flash. I thought it was him. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, the dude they got to play Grandmaster Flash. It's Grandmaster Flash, and we looked it up. It's like, oh no, but like the dude looks just like a much younger version of him. They have DJ Kool Herc in there. It's like all the classic hip hop dudes. You know, it's in the height of disco. The music in this is fantastic. The story is great, and like, you know, it's about, like I said, the birth of hip hop. So like the main character, each episode starts off with a narration by him as an adult,
telling his kids or something.
Well, no, he's like on stage, like rapping, like he's like in the middle of a show, but he's rapping his story. And so it starts like that, and then flashbacks to 1977, and then it picks up. But the dude doing the rapping, for the main character's adult parts at the beginning of the episodes is Nas.
Oh wow!
When was the last time you heard Nas?
The movie Belly with Nas and DMX.
He was like, to me, one of the last good rappers.
Nas, yeah.
I loved Nas. I had.
He came from that same time period. I mean,
but he was like towards the end, like around 2000, 2001, 2. Like he didn't really do too much beyond that. Like his heyday was the late 90s.
Do you remember Mace?
Oh yeah, he was like Puff Daddy's like lover boy guy.
Kind of. Oh, dude, do you remember when P. Diddy. Remember when he was Puff Daddy?
It was Puff Daddy, then P. Diddy,
yeah,
then Diddy.
Oh, he's known as fucking Biggie's bitch. do you remember that? Every music video was just him in the passenger side seat as Biggie was rolling around town in his fucking, in the drop top or whatever. Oh.
Ghetto superstar, that is what you are.
Was that?
Do you remember that? That was Maya in Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You see how Old Dirty Bastard going, yo.
Ghetto superstar, yeah. What was that whole time period? Because that's exactly the kind of stuff that like Britney Spears would do. Remember Britney?
Yeah.
No, she'd go.
Oh, bang.
Baby, hit me one more time. Even like Christina Aguilera would do it and shit.
Bop. Murr.
No. No.
Oh. No.
I do. God, going back to that time period of music though reminds me like rushing home from like 8th grade. Middle school to go like watch TRL, hoping that I could catch like Britney Spears' "Slave for You" music video.
Is that the one in the red jumpsuit?
No, that was that was Toxic, I think. Was that Toxic when she was like a secret agent or some shit? This is going back.
I just remember the red jumpsuit in the Major Camel Toe.
Yeah. Dude, I remember it all.
Dude, you had that little head thing down like 2
I had
years.
swiveled my little head.
Yeah, I can't do that. I look like a broken bobblehead when I try to do that.
But yeah, I try to get home to watch that "Slave for You." I'm a slave for, and she go,
oh yeah.
She'd do the breathe, and she was like surrounded by guys and girls, and they're all sweaty, dude. I can't tell you the amount of fucking loads I dropped to that music video in 8th grade. It was like #1.
He rushes home. It's like, hey son, how was school? Fine. Zip. I got 2 minutes.
I bet he tried to time it to like when she's rubbing her face, then she does like the quick like jerk to the right, and that's when he's
No, God damn it. Yeah, I'd be like, God damn it, Carson, get off the fucking TV. Yeah, no, because I was the only one who was home at that time. So I'd be like dropping clothes and shit on my way to my room. I'd be like, one shoe
can't
soaked.
wait for this slave video.
Yeah, swooshy pants to the floor. You know? Yeah, you guys remember swooshies?
Was that your go-to jerking material pre-internet? Did Britney Spears and TRL or
Pretty much.
because Christina Aguilera had some good videos
She
too.
dude, fucking Genie in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Come on,
No. The fighter video where
I
she's
don't
like
remember that one.
a sweaty, dirty boxer.
You just.
I think that was that the beautiful one? You are beautiful.
No, it was called Fighter.
I didn't remember.
She was wearing like
oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, like a bikini top, like a thong, and then like chaps, and she was like just dirty and sweaty and in a boxing ring for some reason.
I love dirty girls.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I'm like, yeah.
I remember there was Shakira. These hips don't lie. She might have sounded a little like Cher, but she didn't look like it. Okay. Yeah. God damn, man. That was the time.
Shakira's still hot.
They're all.
And Christina Aguilera's still hot.
Even Britney Spears, man. She looks a little. Yeah. She looks like she spent some time in a trailer park.
Well, I dismiss Britney. She's from Florida.
I'm not a. Well, that's how you know she's crazy. That's how you know she's good. You know.
Oh man.
So
speaking of
switching gears, smash cut.
No, because we got on that subject because of the Get Down, and I was speaking about Nas. Mm-hmm. That show, again, I recommend go see it. That show made me make 2 new Pandora stations, a Grandmaster Flash station, nice. And a it's called 90s bar 90s bar like hip hop barbecue or something like that. So it's like all Biggie and Pac and Dre and Snoop Dogg, and like, oh dude, like watch that show. You're gonna start listening to like the old school hip hop again, because it's fucking great. Because you go, oh yeah, that was good. That was fucking good shit. And I spent like, I think I watched it the weekend before this past weekend, so I spent all last week listening to old school hip hop. It was great.
Me and one of the part-timers at work at the shop had that kind of experience where it was all early 90s rock and roll. You know what I mean? And even into like early 2000s, it was just every time a song played, it was like, God damn it, dude! I remember this. Even things like Sugar Ray. Every morning there's a halo hanging from the corner of... Dude, I just all these songs and still know every fucking word.
Sugar Ray jumped the shark when they appeared in the Scooby-Doo movie as monsters.
Yeah, well, they weren't fantastic. I mean, dude, Hoobastank crawling in the dock. Tell me that when you hear that, you don't think of fucking like, I don't know, sophomore year of high school or something like that.
I think of this kid's like really shitty mixtapes that he used to make.
Yeah, Lifehouse.
You remember that? Yeah, Aaron used to have like the summer mixtapes like for cruising around.
Oh yeah,
when we were of age to drink, but like there was some bad music on there.
But there was also some really good music. Remember that time we rolled around for like 3 hours straight doing nothing but listening to the Chrono Cross intro song? It was just like the fucking fiddle and like the ukulele or some shit. And we would just jam and just fucking thinking like, dude, we should be dancing around a fire right now. Why don't we have a fire? You know,
because we're too young and poor
to be young again, rolling around in like a Mercury Sable or whatever.
I know, isn't that funny? Like
Ford Taurus.
We're old enough to do whatever the fuck we want, but we just don't do it.
Well, because back then we had the time, but we didn't have the means or the money.
Yeah.
Now we have, well, sort of. We have the money and the means, but we don't have the time.
Yeah.
If later on in life we'll have the time, the money, but not the fucking means. You know, we're gonna be like old and tired and shit.
No, what? Fuck that. Well, we'll have the means. We have even more means.
Means.
The means.
Bring me more means.
Big bucket of means.
I imagine we were talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. I just mean more means. You remember more steam.
Where are all the means going?
What character was it from?
It was like
using
Feng
China
Shui or something like that.
Oh, he was a samurai from The Last Samurai.
Kill Bill?
No, from The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
That guy. He was in Inception. I don't remember the actor's name.
Yeah, I was gonna say yet another movie where it's like the white guy.
That wasn't him in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
No, that was Chow Yun Fat.
Was it?
You're getting your Asian dudes mixed up. You racist bastard! They don't all look the same.
They clearly do. Come on, man. What the fuck?
I think one's Chinese and one's Japanese.
What? Seriously, really? It's hard to make the distinction.
Wow.
Okay? You don't. What?
Wow. Social justice.
Oh, man.
Another smash cut.
It ain't a smash cut. I'm reading something.
What are you reading, Pat?
So, anyways, to bring it down a notch, Gene Wilder died this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad news. I mean, dude had a good long run. I mean, he was 83, died of complications from Alzheimer's.
But really, though, did he? That's what I don't understand when people say, like, well, he was 83, died of complications. No, man, you're just
old.
Your
body stopped. Like, you can't say, like, oh,
well, I think Alzheimer's lowers your immune system.
Yeah, but
like, significantly. Because my mother died, my grandmother died the same way, the same thing.
Yes, and I do sympathize, but it gets to a point, like, when I'm, like, 85 and I'm dying of, like, of heart failure, I'm just gonna be like, dude, I got fucking old. Like, that's what happens. You get past 80 and your body starts.
Yeah, well, we're not made to live that long. So.
Yeah, well, actually, they said, man, the first 150-year-old person has already been born.
Well, yeah, now, but
I know. I'm just saying that.
But that calculation, they also take into account medical science.
Yeah, that's what I think is fucking crazy. Is that they're gonna be a point where 80 is basically middle aged.
Right, yeah.
How fucking insane is that?
We'll live as long as turtles.
We'll look like turtles, too.
I'm gonna make a call back. That's a...
Cowabunga.
That's a fucking...
Anyway, so yeah, it's sad. Gene Wilder died. Great movies. Yeah, I guess everybody... I don't know. Most people, I feel like oh, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's like his most famous role. Although it's not one of my favorite movies, I don't think it's a bad movie.
I would probably say
it's not.
I want to say Blazing Saddles, but I don't feel like that's bigger than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No, I mean, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm confused. He did Willy Wonka, or did he do Charlie? Like the
He was Willy Wonka.
No. The remake with Johnny Depp. It was named. Was that named Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Charlie?
That was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay, so he did Willy Wonka in the Charlie
No,
Factory.
no, he did. He did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wait, what was that?
He did the old one, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
So the new one was called Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew the new one was like had a different name. Okay, so
Whoever's listening to this is gonna be screaming.
Yeah, fucking Charlie's gobblers.
Charlie's and the trees.
But no, I think Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. Those, I think he didn't have as mass appeal as Willy Wonka or Charlie or whatever the fuck the Chocolate Factory movie.
They're great. They're great.
But they're better. Yeah, they're better.
They're like those. They're cult hits.
They are. Like, he was a funny dude. He did a lot of other movies besides that. But I mean, honestly, besides those three,
I'm trying to think of a quote from Blazing Saddles that isn't offensive.
like, I mean, it's okay because I mean that whole movie is a movie about how stupid racism is.
I know, but in this period, dude, you try to yell at me for saying that I didn't know that a Chinese actor and a Japanese actor.
Well, I mean, even Mel Brooks said that that movie could never be made today.
Oh no.
Yeah, in the 70s you could get away with a lot, but I mean, here's one of my favorite lines, and it's totally not racist at all. And the governor and all the guys like, harumph, harumph. Hey, I didn't get a harumph from that guy. You there, give the governor harumph. Harumph. And don't you forget it. Yeah. Just, I don't know, there's so many fucking stupid shit throwaway lines like that. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes, where are all the white women at?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All of a sudden...
way to interrupt the flow.
Sorry,
I
accidentally unplugged the Yeti, so... I just had to make sure.
Unplug you, Yeti.
What's your favorite Gene Wilder movie?
I would
Aaron.
That one where he plays the deaf guy or the blind guy and what's his name?
Oh, what's that? See No Evil, right? Is that what it's called?
See No Evil. That's what it was.
See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
That movie was a riot.
Yeah. Really, I was not expecting that, and that was like
deep
one of his last movies too. And he retired early, dude. Like, I'm looking at his IMDb here. It's like 1991, Another You was the last movie that he did. And what was that, 22 years ago?
Yeah, well, he probably had a pretty penny saved up in the fucking bank.
No, I'm sure, but I mean that still, he had, like, if you look at this thing, look,
how many films did he make? Or was he starting?
Oh, I mean, a good amount here. Like 67, 68, 70, 70, 71, 72, 74, 74, 74, 74, 74, 75, Jeez. 76. And he was busy during the 70s, right up through the 80s. And then it's like the 90s. He's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, well,
Nine. The what? All right. I'm going to pause it right now. Ready? Now.
Testing.
That was lovely.
I'm back.
All right, we're back from our break, unscheduled technical difficulty break. I don't know how I'm going to edit that together. So, rest in peace, Gene Wilder. Our conversation on you was sadly cut short by Aaron.
Or do you mean it was cut right on time? Because we were dragging on a little bit.
I'll drag you on, motherfucker. Anyways.
Quote, a wizard is neither early nor is he late.
He is precisely where he means to be. Right? Is that the quote?
You have no power here.
Hurry, you fools. So, while we were sitting here waiting for things to get fixed...
Is that Bill Nye?
It's Bill Nye. And you know what about Bill Nye?
The show's coming back?
Netflix.
Oh!
We'll be having a new Bill Nye show next spring.
No, but good. But no.
It's called Bill Nye Saves the World.
Roy went straight Cosby.
Roy went straight off the table.
I fucking love Bill Nye. That was one of my favorite. That and Beekman's World. I loved because Beekman was first. Remember Beekman's World?
Yeah, yep.
Beekman's World. child with the big fat rat and the kind of trashy slutty chick with the big nose. I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but no, they changed her out halfway through.
Yeah. But like that was more like
He was switching
goofy,
between the
he was, like, a
slave
mad
video
side-
and that show.
Actually, Beekman was way early. I was probably only like maybe 7 or 8 when, you know what I mean. So, and then like he kind of phased out, and Bill Nye filled in that void.
Well, because Bill Nye was like true science.
Yeah, he's legit. He's an actual engineer. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's, there's less. It was still goofy, but there wasn't like a silly narrative.
Yeah,
to it.
Beekman was just a schmuck. A schmuck with like beakers.
Yeah, in my head, for some reason, I think of like Brendan Fraser with really awful hair, like in my head with like the green jacket and shit.
So Bill Nye says in this new show, he says, the episodes will focus on the complexity of scientific issues facing us today, including episodes on vaccinations, GMOs, and climate change.
So but it's geared for an older audience, not a kid show.
It doesn't specify. It's just
I've always
Bill
wondered.
Nye.
What sucks about that
I
is
only
like
have-
I've heard everything that he has to say on the topics, and it's very mainstream. Like he doesn't go fringe at all. Like where other scientists talk about like vaccinations and things like that, he's just like, nope, I've read the studies that CNN reports on, and it's this way. So
Well, he's got his foot very firmly entrenched within the realm of real science. Like, do you guys listen to Star
Yeah.
Talk Radio?
I haven't in a while, but
They've got
used to.
a cool news, I guess you could say sub show or whatever it is, like sub podcast, where it's Star Talk All Stars, where they have experts come in. So it'll be like one episode was Bill Nye talking to an expert from the CDC on the Zika virus, and they discuss like mosquitoes and ways to combat Zika and threats and all sorts of stuff, and it was really cool. So I don't know, when the guy talks, I tend to listen because he's credible.
I'm gonna sound like a hipster. I used to love Star Talk Radio, and I loved it, and I listened to it all the time until it got
Live?
so popular that they made the show, and it became live. Like when it was Neil deGrasse Tyson like recording in the janitor's closet of the museum, it was such a better show.
Yeah.
Now it reminds me of Wayne's World when like the studio buys the show and they remake Wayne's basement in a studio. And it's like
see the problem with that is that instead of having a conversation like we are, like they used to,
yeah,
they're performing for an audience.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That takes away from the overall conversation, because now you have to try to be funny because you can see 500 people in the audience, and I'm sure for those 500 people in the audience, it's wonderful, it's great. I believe you've actually been to one of their shows, but for the listener, it definitely fucking.
no, I only went.
Yeah,
my,
it was so much
Neil
better.
deGrasse Tyson thing was just him like giving an auditorium,
Just like a
yeah, like a
speech.
speech or a, what do you call it, a fucking college.
like a lecture,
Lecture, yeah.
lecture.
He was like at Emerson or
No,
something,
he was at
right?
the Providence Performing Arts Center or whatever the fuck, some theater, but it was more of a lecture.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to one at some point, but I know it's just like you said, it lost something. It went
It
almost
really
a little too mainstream.
Yeah.
That, and I hate the way far for me or us to criticize someone else's a famous person's podcast, but the way they break it up and like
Yeah, no, the way the
little
way the
segments,
podcast was
10
before was like
segments, the 10-minute segment, then the commercial, and then
I can't
cosmic queries.
Yeah, like I can't stand it only because we've had technical difficulties tonight and all that stuff recording, but generally when we used to podcast, we would podcast for an hour and a half, 2 hours solid straight through one continuous conversation, leading in a labyrinth way, looping back through our original points and whatnot, and it got silly, but it eventually made sense. I don't
know if it always made sense.
Well, it made more sense than having like a talk show format where you stop every 7 to 8 minutes and like, yeah, okay, that's great, but we'll be right back.
Right.
You're listening to Star Talk Radio.
Originally, I mean, he did have like 2 breaks in it.
Yeah.
And when we get sponsors, I will put at least a break or two for sponsors in here too.
Well,
but
you know.
It smells like crap down here. We're recording.
We're in a musty basement.
Yeah, it's not the nicest place. When we move, when we buy a new house, I intend to have record in a nice studio-esque environment. But for the time now, we're in a musky, stinking, cat puke-filled basement.
Dude, cut that. You can't say that to the people.
What? There is. Look at right there. Look at that pile.
Dude, look at how people listen to this, man. That's fucking gross. But
they're not the ones sitting near it.
Should be the slogan of this podcast. Modern retro smells like cat pee.
And there's the episode's name. It smells like cat pee.
So my only two complaints about, since we're on the subject of Bill Nye, is two things. One, I really think he should make a webisode thing for kids again to get kids I feel like obviously kids have dropped out of science. There's not a whole lot of shows like you have you had the Wild Kratts, the animal show for kids.
Yeah, but that's not science. That's more
that was biology, that was
zoology,
animal science. But we need something kind of like that to get kids back into something like that. And I honestly think instead of, was it Bill Nye Saves the World?
Yes.
Should have been Bill Nye Changes the World. Because that's how he says it. Dare I say, changes
Should have been
the
called
world.
Bill Nye, the Next
End
Generation.
is nigh. Like it just should have been like that. Should have been the fucking name.
Oh.
Well, that's just like too pessimistic.
That's going to be his, Fallout, like when it becomes like the Fallout universe. He's going to be on the radio, and that's going to be his radio show.
Just sitting there drinking his Nuka-Cola.
The end is nigh.
So we got a movie review. Aaron, you gonna give us a quick review of
Sure.
Kubo?
I went to go see Kubo.
All right.
By Leica Studios. They're the same people that brought what is it? Paranorman, the Box Trolls.
They do all the stop motions things.
Coraline, and some of the animators came from Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously, from that same kind of style.
So is stop motion? So we don't say clay motion
No, because it's
anymore?
not technically clay anymore. They use 3D printing to do all like the faces and all that type of shit. I've been watching like all the behind the scenes, like how they did this stuff, and it was like,
yeah, I heard about that. It's like back in the day, they would take like Jack Skellington had 60 different faces that they used for him, and like one dude had to sculpt each face. Now they just like type it into a 3D printer, and like in a day they have like 200 faces.
They print as much as they need. They print as large and as small as they need it, and they made like their biggest animatronic puppet that they've ever made, which was like that giant skeleton thing that you see in the.
I wonder if you lose something though, like the. I don't want to say like the spirit of the movie, but when they do that, like we were just describing Jack Skellington and the 60 Faces, and the one guy who had to painstakingly sculpt all these little heads and faces and all that stuff, like you can feel that in a way. You can, when you watch that, you can appreciate it. Kind of like, it's my old standby is the movie Jurassic Park, but when you watch that, you can feel it. There's a feeling that you get when you're watching it that you don't get with regular CGI or something that's just manipulated.
No, it's definitely there because it's not it's not really done in computer. It's definitely done with instead of claymation, it's like almost like those Japanese fucking action figures where they have all the points of articulation, only they're made to be moved inch by inch and motion by motion. So it's
for everything I've heard, this movie is just beautiful.
It's like someone took Samurai Jack and put it towards claymation, and the story's not.
I'm already sold.
Yeah, the story's not overwhelmingly amazing, but it's just like that old kind of Japanese tale. Like a lot of.
I'll read you the IMDb synopsis here. Young Kubo's peaceful existence comes crashing down when he accidentally summons a vengeful spirit from the past. Now on the run, Kubo joins forces with a monkey, played by Charlize Theron, and Beetle, voiced by Matthew McConaughey, to unlock a secret legacy. Armed with a magical instrument, Kubo must battle the Moon King, Ralph Phineas, not sure who that is, and other gods and monsters to save his family and solve the mystery of his fallen father, the greatest samurai warrior the world has ever known.
So basically, you're the kid of like
do you think-
Hattori Hanzo,
so do you think-
or the Kubo's the kid of Hattori Hanzo, basically, who killed a god or attacked a god and got murdered. But
Is the man one of the guys played by Chow Yun-fat?
it should be.
Now, the one thing I've heard about this movie, criticism wise, is the whitewashing of the voice actors. It's a Japanese story taking place in Japan, but
Everyone
actor's
wants
white.
to be fucking offended. Shut the fuck up. Movie was.
See,
Well, I mean, with this being animation, I mean, I can sort of give it a pass because you're not seeing the actors, you're just hearing the voices. But I mean, I completely understand the whitewashing complaints for other movies like Gods of Egypt, where it's supposed to be Egyptian, but everybody's British.
I don't care about the whitewashing of movies like that. I don't. People get all sorts of fucking up in arms about it. But the thing is like, and even when it comes to shows like The Walking Dead, when people say, oh, you know, there's only one or two black characters, it's like, well, you gotta, what's your demographic? Who's going to be watching the show? You have to make that show for your audience, or the movie for your audience. Who's gonna go watch a movie like Kubo?
Well, again, for this
Probably-
movie, that complaint is low on my list. But I mean, imagine watching The Last Samurai, and everybody was Tom Cruise.
It would be odd. It would be odd. But the thing is that you have to understand who's gonna.
Why can I suddenly see you on my screen?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh God.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. It's like when you think about the demographic of how many people are gonna go see the movie compared to maybe this ethnic group of people. You know what I mean? I tend to forgive it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
fuck that. It's a good movie. You should definitely go see it. Shit was inspirational. You watch it and you're just like, wow, pretty. And they do like the horror moments where almost like The Shining, where the two twins are like, come play with us. They do a similar scene with that, only it's like Japanese demons. It's fucking amazing. There's
Oni.
So is this a kids?
oh yeah,
movie,
definitely a
or is
kids
it-
movie. There's,
Oh, okay. Because the way you were
but I mean, they
describing
definitely go there thematically, where you're just like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's PG.
A lot of cool like monsters show up, and the size that they made these monsters, when I looked at the special features, like, holy shit. I really hope the special features on the DVD show all this stuff, because the past several DVDs that have come out, like I've got Ash vs. Evil Dead, very lacking. When that was a comeback to a fucking movie 20 years ago, you should have a little bit more than a tiny featurette that was like 2 seconds long. Star Wars Rebels 2, Season 2 just came out. That was pretty lacking in special features. Like,
I told
well, they had
you.
all the Rebel Recon stuff, which is every episode there's like that behind the scenes, but they have it on YouTube already that you can watch from the Disney Channel. So they have all that stuff. So there's hours of that. But as far as they have like a little mini featurette about how that connects into the rest of the Star Wars universe, and that's it.
Do they have like the thing of like all the like the production art and stuff
No.
like that
No.
on it? It's, that's what I used to love for the Clone Wars, because after every episode, when you go to like the StarWars.com, they would have all like the character designs and like the rough drafts and like all the production art for every episode, and that shit was awesome because like the animators they put so much fucking detail into it, like all like the Republic like attack ships, like each squad, like they'd have like a little like World War II like a bomber pinup type of artwork on it, and it like say something, but it'd be in the Awubish or however you
Arabish,
whatever the Star Wars language, but it would actually say something. Like I think one of them like Plo Koon's squad was called the Wolf Pack,
Yeah, it's the wolf,
and like
Space Wolves or Dark
but like on their dropships it was called Plo's Boys, but it was written in like the language and shit like that. So like it was like shit like that, like on clones' helmets, the writing and the tattoos and stuff like that. It's like that's what I was hoping there would be on this.
They mention
season
it like
2
the
DVD.
whole,
It's just like a lot of
the
shit
text
like
and
that.
stuff, like it says fragile on one of the boxes, that kind of thing, but in that language. As far as going back to Kubo, I give that either definitely a bucket of fucks. I mean, they definitely cared a lot about to make this movie. I mean,
You're giving it a whole bucket of fucks?
In production. The actual
Well,
story,
remember,
the story itself.
We're on a 0 to 10 scale. 0 to 10 scale.
Yeah, but a bucket exceeds 10. That's a high praise.
This is
I would
definitely
say
their
more.
best work by far, and it's like you watch it and if you're an artist like we are, you're just like, holy shit, this is amazing, beautiful. Like, I can't take my eyes off the screen. But the story it's not going to blow your mind, so that lowers it to maybe like a 9 to 8 for like a regular movie review.
Okay, so it went from a bucket to 8 to 9 fucks.
It's a lot of fucks. It's still good. It's still a must see.
Something you
Even
recommend.
if you're not going,
Something you recommend seeing in the theaters.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, I'll probably take my kid to go see it this weekend, and if you're wrong, then you owe me money, sir.
You know, I do want to see it. You know, what I'm looking forward to is the new animated movie. Is it Disney? I think it's a Disney movie with Moana, whatever. It's like the Polynesian movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
That looks like it's gonna be like, at least visually, that looks like it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Now, something that's stupid, we want to go back to the whole including like social justice thing. People are protesting that movie because
Moana?
Yeah, because
But it's all Polynesian actors.
Because The Rock's character, the demigod,
yeah.
is like not fat, but the way he's built is like thick, heavy set. And they're saying, why do you have to show us like that? We're
He's
not
a
all
Samoan.
Dude,
Exactly. I'm like, bitch, yes you are. What are you talking about? Look at Mark Hunt. Look at like The Rock. Like, did you see what The Rock looked like before he became a professional wrestler?
Dude, let me tell you, I was in Hawaii. They look like that.
Like, dude,
They're either very big people or they're very trim
bet
people.
You know,
that
it's just like what was it? The
your
last
people-
Olympics where the Spanish people said like they're going to China to play soccer, and they all went like this, and the only people were offended. It wasn't China themselves.
No one can't see you. Describe what you did.
They put their fingers to their eyes and they stretched them out
You
and
made
made
your
them
eyes squidge out.
Chinese looking. And the only people that were offended by it wasn't actually China themselves who were offended. It was like America and like white people and Chinese people in America that were like, "Oh my God, this like Spanish people did that. That's so offensive." It's like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, seriously, you're just
being so
drinking the
sensitive, you bunch
Kool-Aid.
of pussies. Yeah. So, did we have anything else?
I'd have something else, but it'll be short. I gave
Maybe.
my fiance's daughter 1984 to read, and I made her write an essay about how it compares to today.
What do you do? Do you do the homeschooling?
She didn't have a lot of summer homework, so
Mini
I gave her
broad?
some. So, she didn't know how to compare it to today, so I started like researching myself, like videos.
How do you not know how to pick?
Well, she's 11, and we don't have cable,
If-
so.
So he's making her do essays on fucking 1984.
I gathered up a bunch of YouTube videos for her to watch from like CNN and all these like different sources about how it compares, but then like came to the conclusion that like, so there's a thing in the book called Newspeak, which is the definition of it is like taking old words and making them unusable, or like you're not supposed to use these new words. You're supposed to go
Well, they they repurpose
to
them
limit
and
your
everything.
thought. Essentially, is the whole purpose of Newspeak, and I just came across this whole thing about social justice is the new Newspeak because it's making all these terms so offensive, and if you use them, then you're labeled this particular thing, and it just leads to the downfall of society. The end.
That
That
did she learn
I
anything?
haven't gone over it with her yet. I'm still gathering it up for her.
Oh, okay.
She'll learn something by the time we're done.
Or I'll beat her.
Swear.
So the last thing I want to discuss real quick before we go deals with Episode 8, Star Wars Episode 8. Mark Hamill. Now, people are debating all day if this was a major spoiler on his part or something innocent, but he posted a video on Twitter of him shaving off his Luke Skywalker beard, and he says, "I haven't seen my beard since 2014." Seen my face since 2014, and then he says like until episode 9. Now, people are like, "Oh my God, that means Luke dies in the next episode. Other people are going, well, he said he'll be back in episode 9. So I mean, what do you think? Do you think because he didn't shave his beard between episode 7 and 8? Why is he shaving his beard now between 8 and 9?
The redemption.
Or do you just think he wanted to shave his beard and
maybe he just finally came off the island and didn't want to look homeless? He was just all stankin', hasn't taken a shower. I mean, that was salt water. You can't take a bath in salt water all the time. That island. I mean, it's all crusty. He's just like, I need to get rid of this fucking thing.
Jedi crust?
I don't know. That's the type of thing that maybe he did spoil something. Maybe he does die in the next movie, but maybe he doesn't, because you're never going to fucking know until you watch the goddamn movie. I'm not going to speculate on this bullshit, because it's just going to enrage me.
But I brought it up for speculation.
What do you think? Do you think he should die in the next one? Tough, right?
It is tough.
Because you want to say...
I don't want them to follow the formula that
he becomes a forced ghost and becomes a
right because they like that should have happened in the first one, but because in the original trilogy the Sam Whitmore he's put forth this awesome theory that I now incorporate into my own headcanon is
Palpatine one.
No. Is Obi-Wan and Luke is in A New Hope. Obi-Wan dies. I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Luke only hears his voice. But if you notice, Luke's sort of confused every time he hears Obi-Wan's voice in that movie. It's like, run, Luke, run. He's like, okay. And then, use the Force, Luke. And he's like, who the fuck's saying that? But he follows it. But he looks confused. And then Empire takes place 3 years later. At the very beginning, he barely sees Obi-Wan's ghost on Hoth. It's just barely. And then later on, after he's been training with Yoda, Obi-Wan's clear to him. He comes out before he leaves for Bespin, perfectly clear. And then in Jedi, he's Obi-Wan that is sits down on a fucking log and starts talking with him. So his theory is that the more Luke trains in the Force and becomes more attuned and more powerful with the Force, the more he's able to see and commune with Obi-Wan.
So it'd be more like Obi-Wan's presence in the Force at that moment would be like a staticky radio station.
Yes.
And he's tuning by training more and more.
Exactly.
With Yoda, he's tuning that radio to get to that station.
Right. Because obviously Luke tried to train a little bit in the 3 years between A New Hope and Empire, so that's why he's able to see him in Empire versus in A New Hope.
So in this new
he just
movie,
doesn't appear as a ghost right
him.
away.
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Goodbye, everybody. That was the podcast. No. So I mean, I love that theory. I think it's a good theory and it makes sense. But I think if they were to do that with Luke, he trained Rey and everything like that. They missed a whole movie to set up the relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if he trains with Rey in this movie and then dies in that movie, then you only have one more movie to kind of get it's different. I think it's a different dynamic. Her relationship mentor wise was with Han because she was more the mechanic space pilot type of person. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. It'd be sad for Luke to die, but I also think it'd be redundant to kill off another classic character in the next
Leia
movie.
should die.
Not only that, but but when you think about it, it doesn't make sense. And in general, it's not good for the galaxy as a whole in those movies if Luke dies.
Right.
Because he could train Rey for the next movie. But it's basically like if Yoda and Obi-Wan vanished and you just had Luke from the end of Empire and he was the last Jedi. No Yoda for more training, no Obi-Wan for more guidance. It wouldn't work. The Jedi would have been extinguished. So if you have Rey, say Luke sacrifices himself or does whatever, you know what I mean? He dies. Rey's the only one to carry on the Jedi from that moment on. She's the last existing Jedi that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that ain't gonna do shit. She doesn't have that same breadth of knowledge and time. The only reason that Luke can do everything he does is because he's so powerful, because he trained with Yoda and Obi-Wan, I guess you could say. So he had training from the two top Jedi Masters of that day, and he's the son of the one, the chosen one. That's why he gets away with it. It's the only reason he gets away with it. But if Rey is...
It was said you bring preludes to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
Anyway, I think...
I hate
All right,
you!
I'll rephrase my
But
thought
if...
again.
But no, but if Rey does that, it doesn't hold the same. Do you know? Is my point coming across?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. All right, what are you
Rephrase my
going to say?
answer. Okay, I don't think he should die, but I think he should be like Yoda. He's exiled to this whatever planet. He trains her. She's like, "Well, we need your help." And he's like, "No, I can't." And then he comes back in 9, like the redemption of of him with his old lightsaber, and he's shaved again, and yeah, something happens.
I mean, no, maybe that being. I mean, I could get behind that. Like, he's still reluctant to leave Ireland.
It's like New Zealand or
Instead
something.
of Yoda, where he dies,
Yeah.
like,
There is another Rey.
yeah. Not have that. Let's actually have
So how do you
the
guys?
redemption.
How do you guys feel about the whole Rey being? I know it doesn't really make sense, but Rey being Palpatine's daughter and all that stuff.
I haven't even heard that one.
No?
I stay away from this stuff. I stay away from spoilers and theories and shit like that.
There's a fan theory that says that Rey is the secret daughter of Palpatine, and that's why Luke dropped her off on the planet. He didn't have what it takes to it's the son of his mortal fucking enemy.
Yeah, but
it makes I know the whole thing about the Emperor having a kid is kind of like, who the fuck would fuck that?
It's like fucking a dry turd.
No, I mean, it's like it'd be like having
sex with a California
sex with
raisin.
a pile of. I was gonna say a pile of melted cheese, but okay, sure. So the cool dynamic about that is that you have Rey, who would be Rey Palpatine, who would be come from a background of evil. Her lineage is evil, trying to be good, and then you have Kylo or Ben, whatever, who is trying to be dark but came from a lineage of light. So you have a complete role reversal in the two.
Isn't there a big theory going around now that Snoke is Boba Fett?
That's even
So that right there, like, again, I don't
Snoke is
follow. I
everyone.
had so much fun going in. Yeah, I had so much fun going into episode 7, not knowing anything, that I'm just keeping clean for 8 and 9 also.
I would rather that Snoke was fucking Voldemort over Boba Fett. Okay, like it makes more sense
Right.
at least. Like it's a whole wizard thing.
I think with all this theory and speculation, I think we're gonna come to find that they're just nobody. They're nobody. They're related to nobody. There's no lineage. I mean, maybe Rey's a Skywalker. Maybe that might be like the one twist thing. But I don't want her to be anybody. I don't want Snoke to be anybody. It's like, you know what I mean?
The old guard died. Now you have new players that move up.
Right. It's just like the fan speculation has gone beyond the point of retarded that it's like
Social
No.
justice. Excuse me. You can't say that.
has gone beyond the point of
Social justice.
mentally incapacitated, impaired to the power of
The Force.
Good night, everybody.
And what do you think about that? Dave Filoni trying to make Rex canon in Return of the
with that.
Jedi. I sent that picture to you guys.
Yes.
Did you see that? Did you read it?
I sorry. Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Fine with it.
I want to know where the rest of he's one lonely clone. Like he's the only clone. He would be the only clone in that squad.
Well, well, it's not a squad of clones. It's like the ones that didn't die, and weren't put to pasture by the Empire. They're
that were with him. I know, but where are they now?
dead. They're part of
I
the
know.
rebellion.
I'm just saying he's just lonely, just a lonely old clone.
He's a lonely old clone.
I'm just a lonely old clone.
What if it was really Boba Fett?
Just feel like it should be a song.
That was beautiful.
What if it was actually
What?
Boba Fett? Came out and he...
Maybe it's Boba Fett.
Maybe it's Snoke. Okay, just Snoke with a. Imagine just Snoke with a mustache.
Dave Filoni,
Yeah.
did you watch that interview that I sent you? Like the hour-long interview?
No, I still haven't seen it yet. The
there's a
Filoni
funny
one.
part where while he was on directing Avatar, the Nickelodeon show, or doing something for Avatar, they were like, "Oh, what'll it take for you to leave this show because you love it so much?" He's like, "Oh, if George Lucas called me," and like a week later, George Lucas, like someone from Lucasfilm, called him and was like, "Oh, we're looking for a director to animate this new Clone Wars show," and he's going, "Didn't you just do a Clone Wars show?" Like, so he's thinking it's like the SpongeBob people next door, like fucking with him. So he's going with it. And he's like, yeah. And at the end of they set up a time to meet and all that type of stuff. And at the very end of the phone interview, he goes, "So can I ask you a question?" She's like, "Yes." "Who is this really?" And she's like, "This is Dave Filoni, right?" "Yes." "And you're on Avatar, right?" He's like, "Fuck, this is real." Right? And once he realizes it's real, he's like, "Oh, you totally got the right guy. I'm building a costume of Plo Koon in my basement." He's like, "I'm saying all the wrong things." And you could tell the lady was like, "Oh God, what have I done?" So it was definitely a cool interview. I definitely say check it out from the Star Wars show.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. I don't watch the Star Wars show because it's generally stupid, but I don't care about Weird Al's thoughts on Star Wars. But yeah, I love Dave Filoni. I think that guy is like such a fresh breath in Star Wars. Like his creativeness, like he did with the Clone Wars and what he's done with Rebels is fucking fantastic.
Well, when he got the job, he goes, "These people don't know what they're doing. Like they hired the wrong guy." He's like, "I've never."
When that's good. That's who you want in charge of your Star Wars. Is a guy who makes a Plo Koon costume for cosplaying.
While I don't agree with everything that the Clone Wars did, I do appreciate it. It's really fucking good. They've done, and Rebels, I've watched Rebels season 1 and a couple episodes of season 2. It was okay. Rebels wasn't
Jeremy
bad.
Johns just came out with a review of season 1 because he saw like the very end of season 2. And he was like, "Well, I watched the first episode. And it was light. I wouldn't really get into it." And then he watched the end of season 2, and he was like, "Fuck, I need to start watching Rebels." And then, so he just posted his review of season 1, and he goes, it's family-friendly Star Wars. You can watch like the first couple episodes, get introduced to the characters, then skip ahead to the last 3 episodes where it gets amazing. And then, like I just put in season 2
between Rebels
and rewatched that Darth Vader episode, and it was so good.
Well, the difference between Rebels and Clone Wars is that I watched Rebels after I watched Clone Wars, obviously.
No, everybody did.
I know, but the thing is that Clone Wars got so fucking heavy.
Yeah,
like it was combat, and it's like watching something that's really deep. Like it got deep for an animated show.
It did, but also the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars were not good.
I know, and I'm not judging. I'm not saying Rebels is bad. I'm just saying as like maybe when. Like, but we still say the Clone Wars is a good show, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the thing is that you have to judge it as it is now. So when you look at like how kind of dark and serious in a way the Clone Wars got, and how much action and like people like there was death, like they dealt with big issues, betrayal, and Obi-Wan's like love got killed by Death Watch and shit like that. And
Maul.
Was it Maul? Sorry, I forget. And then you go to Rebels, and it's just kind of like poppy. Like this kid, just like spunky. He's like, I'm gonna be a.
But again, I haven't seen all of season 2, but season 1, I think they had to go light because like this whole new shakeup.
Yeah.
We're with Disney now, and we gotta kind of play it easy. But then season 2, they fucking turn on the fucking Star Wars switch.
Yeah, you can tell that from the last 3 episodes.
Again, haven't seen the whole season.
It gets really intense really quick.
Right,
and you're like, yes.
Yeah, like the fuck, doesn't Vader? No, not Vader. The Inquisitor cuts off the fucking 2 Imperial officers' heads. Yes. I mean, they don't show it, but I mean, dude, that's Clone Wars right there.
See, I'm not saying
it starts ramping up.
I'm not saying Rebels is bad. It's just really kind of like stark to go from Clone Wars and how it ended.
Yeah.
And like just dude, it ended on such like a crescendo.
Those
like, holy
Darth Vader
shit, what
scenes,
the
though,
fuck?
for
Yeah.
season 2, like that's the very beginning 2 episodes of season 2, and you just the introduction of Darth Vader, where he's like, "The rebels helped a town called," and like they're like Tarking Town. He's like, "I want you to burn it," and they're like, he's like, "What? Do you think they're hiding there?" No, but it'll bring sympathy. Like, so he's like, and it'll draw them out.
Well, just his piloting of the
That was
TIE
amazing.
Advance, he takes out the small rebel fleet. Like that was fucking awesome. Like you go, yes, that's
And they
Anakin.
filmed
That's
it
Anakin
just
in
like the
there
movie,
with his
too.
piloting skills.
Yeah, see, I can't judge season 2 because I've only seen a couple episodes.
The cinematography of
Yeah,
like
that's on my to buy list this week. That
The-
DVD.
I'm hoping it comes out on. When's it coming out on fucking Netflix?
it just came
I
out
don't
on
know.
DVD.
I have
but-
no idea.
Oh.
I haven't heard anything about it coming streaming.
Season 1
It's not on Netflix.
Isn't on Netflix
No.
either. So I mean, I'm wondering when
It's
the hell they're
$25.
gonna
Just get it.
I don't know. I think maybe September. I think Disney and Netflix have a deal. They work together. There's a bunch of Disney shit on Netflix.
Yeah.
I believe I've read in either September or October, all 6 or possibly 7 Star Wars movies will be streaming on Netflix.
Holy
If
shit.
that happens, I would imagine that. Like the Clone Wars is already on there. I would imagine that Rebels would be on there too.
But to have Star Wars on Netflix, that's a bold fucking move. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if it's true. That's what I've read. I don't know if that's rumor or not, but I guess that's part of a deal, like a renewal of the contract with Disney with Netflix, which would be great.
That's awesome.
So get it. $24.
Anything else,
$25
gentlemen's here?
for 4-disc season. Go get it.
Oh.
I haven't bought a movie or DVDs of any kind for the longest
You
time.
haven't bought anything of any kind for
Probably-
the longest time, except for bread.
Just did only bread. Oh, that's right. That's right. Last episode, you're just munching on bread.
I bought this foot in your ass.
Ooh, that one comes free. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bring this episode to an end because we're running very late for an episode that had 0 content.
It's okay. It's a good time.
It's what we do. It's what we do. So find us on iTunes, Modern Retro Podcast. Tell your friends about us. Give us a rating if you like us. Give us a rating if you don't like us. And
Questions, comments, concerns.
just spread the word. Help us grow. We're on Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook. I hope to have this up by next Monday, the 4th of September, or the 5th of September, or that Tuesday. I hope to have the website up, which is modernretropodcast.com, I think. There's Gmail. You can send us any questions at modernretrocast@gmail.com. And we're going to have a Twitter. We're going to have
Facebook.
we already have a Facebook. We're going to have all the social medias. So find us on the interwebs, ladies and gents, and help us out. And we do this because we enjoy it, and we enjoy you, and we hope you enjoy it as well. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits. Dressed up like $1 million trooper, trying mighty hard to look like